This is CBC Here and Now.
I'm Chris Ensing, live in Gander, where this storm still packs a punch. I'll tell you more coming up on Here and Now.
Devastating news. It's devastating.
The shrimp quota is slashed by 63% on the northeast coast.
I hope it's something that's not going to happen again to somebody else.
The family of a man killed in an industrial accident speaks about the impact his death has had on them.
Kaetlyn Osmond takes second place at the World Championships.
Well, our storm finally departs as we work throughout the overnight tonight. Lingering flurries and winds into Saturday, but we have a quiet stretch late Saturday into Sunday before the next one arrives. The details are coming up.
Well, we start tonight in central Newfoundland, where there's more than 40 centimeters of snow on the ground already.
And the blizzard is still raging. Let's go now to Here and Now's Chris Ensing. Chris, how are people doing there?
I've got to say, we're in pretty high spirits now. I know the weather can get some of us down and these winds might whip us out of town, but the people I talked to today had a warm smile on their face and their hearts were beating fast, trying to help each other get out of this mess. Here's the type of day it was. First, some newlyweds out clearing snow, full of smiles, laughing even. The Harveys' secret is working together.
Well, you work as a team, and that's pretty much how it goes, day in and day out.
And a nice hot coffee after.
Then Harold Anderson, bright orange cap on his second clearing of the day, but happy it's not like the May 2-4 storm of 2013.
It's not something we never went through before, and I guess if we stay here for another few years, we'll probably have to repeat it again.
Finally, the king of the road, DWAYNE PUDDISTER. He spent hours clearing driveways today, and when he had a chance to help, he was a gracious ruler of the roads.
And this stuff here is torture. This is torture for people, especially any women or anything I see, like on their own. Looks like I usually stop. Like a man, well, they're on their own usually.
They can figure this one out here.
Yeah.
It seems like, look at that, I think we can see a smile here. Is there a chance you can roll down this window on the side here? We got you covered, buddy! And that's just the kind of day it was with those warm faces. Let's get some cold, hard numbers. Ryan Snoddon, what can we expect for the rest of this weekend?
Well, Chris, 40 centimeters down and still a few more to go, my friend. So I hope that back isn't too tired out just yet. Have a look at the numbers in terms of what we're looking at moving forward. Estimates of near 50 centimeters already in the Lassie area along the Bayvert Peninsula, and we're looking at another 10 centimeters there. 10 to as much as 15, even 20 centimeters not out of the question from the Bay of Exploits down through Gander. So we could be talking about localized amounts from Bayvert to Gander to the Bonavista Bay area, upwards of 60 centimeters by the time we are said and done here. It looks like 5 to as much as 10 centimeters overnight in St. John's. That, again, lingering into Saturday morning a little bit before things clearing out near noon. And in terms of that timeline, I'll just show you quickly here. Gary, I'm not sure if you can drop that here now. Thank you very much. He was reading my mind. As you take a look at the winds, slowly easing from west to east, but still some gusts to 80 kilometers per hour tomorrow morning in St. John's. The flurries lingering, and then finally we'll start to clear out as we work through the midday and into the afternoon. Those winds are a little on the breezy side, even into the Saturday afternoon time period. Speaking of St. John's, it's been a weird day here. It started with raining sideways. It is now switched over to some snow and ice pellets. Let's check in with Zach Gowdy, who's out front of the CBC here. Zach, still mixing with ice pellets there, or is it just snow?
Well, for the moment, Ryan, it's coming down as rain, but hey, you said it, we've had everything today. Very heavy rain this morning, mixed into some heavier snow this afternoon, and rain for the moment. Who knows by the time we wrap up this little chat. The wind, though, has remained constant all day, very high, and in fact did a bit of damage around the city. Check out these pictures. Students at Waterford Valley High actually got a storm day off school, just not the one that they were intending on or the one that they might have thought they were getting. Instead, the school remained closed today because it was too dangerous to approach the building. Those high winds had torn several large pieces of metal siding off of the front of the building right over the front door, in fact. There was other damage too around the rear of the school. You can see that a supply shed toppled over. Elsewhere in the city, a rare sight down at St. John's Harbor for this time of the year. It may have been too warm to snow, but those high winds drove in a lot of sea ice into the harbor this morning. That ice really getting tossed and churned in those winds and pushed up against all the ships in the harbor. Lots of water raging on Kitty Vitty Lake this morning as well. Great pictures there from cameraman Bruce Tilling. So it's been a weird day. It has been that kind of day. Again, for the moment, we've got this sideways rain. Very unpleasant. Can't be too nice out on the roads either, so just keep the weather in mind if you're heading out this Friday night in St. John's. Reporting live from here and now, I'm Zach Gowdy.
Well, something much more pleasant than the weather. This is Kaetlyn Osmond's silver medal winning performance in Finland at the World Figure Skating Championships. Osmond was in second place after a short program on Wednesday, and she held on to second place today. Coming up in a few minutes, you'll hear from Kaetlyn's excited parents, who we reached shortly after Kaetlyn's skate. They were just outside the rink in Helsinki.
Well, a bank in St. John's was held up today. RNC officers spent the afternoon at the Public Service Credit Union on Empire Avenue. They're investigating the armed robbery that happened just after 1:30. At this hour, there is still no word on what kind of weapon was used, the number of suspects, or if arrests have been made.
There is more bad news for the fishery tonight. Many were fearing it. Now it is a reality. The total allowable catch for the depleted northern shrimp stock in Area 6 has been gutted. As Here Now's Terry Roberts reports, this will almost surely mean the closure of some processing plants and sink some enterprises that depend heavily on shrimp.
2 years ago, the northern shrimp fishery was a $250 million industry, employing thousands of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians on land and on the sea. Well, yesterday, news came down. The quota has been slashed by 63%. Compared to 2 years ago, the quota is down 80%. Fishermen like Glen Winslow from here in St. John's say they're likely out of the shrimp business.
Going back 4 years ago, we had £600,000 to catch on this boat per license. Now we're down to, last year, £45,000. This year, if it's a 63% cut, you'll be down to less than £20,000. A trip of shrimp was basically £60,000, so we won't even have 1/3 of a trip.
So that's devastating.
Well, basically the shrimp fishery is over for us now.
8 plants processed shrimp last year. Many struggled. Not enough product to keep 1,500 workers going. Well, Fisheries Minister Steve Crocker says some plants will close. And the 250 crews along the northeast coast that depend heavily on northern shrimp, they'll be hurt badly.
They'll take the viability out of their enterprises on those dependent upon shrimp, which is a large number. About 75% of those with shrimp licenses were mostly dependent on shrimp 2 years ago. So that's going to have major impacts on them.
Sullivan says the cuts are too deep.
This year, we took the harvest rate from 20% down to 10%. In cod, we've had hundreds of percent increase in the biomass and actually decrease the harvest rate as well. We need DFO to recognize that the ecosystem, these species are interlinked.
The reductions are not surprising. Scientists say the stock is collapsing. Warm water, an explosion of shrimp-eating groundfish, and possibly more bad news on the horizon. Crab stocks are also in trouble, but prices this year will be high. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, it's been almost 4 years since Christopher Tuff died when a fuel tanker exploded in Happy Valley Goose Bay. 24-year-old Tuff was inside the tank at the time working as a welder. Well, today the two companies, Stafford's Welding and Woodward's Oil, and 2 employees were fined in total over $100,000. Tuff's family was also in court today and gave their victim impact statements. Here Now's Jacob Barker has more.
It was an emotional scene here at the provincial courthouse in Happy Valley Goose Bay. As family members of Christopher Tuff told the court how his death affected them. Tuff was killed in 2013 after a welding accident set off an explosion inside a Woodward's oil tanker. Listening on were lawyers for Woodward, Stafford's, Welding, and for 2 employees, Barry Wade and Mike Rogers. Wade, a senior employee, was thrown from the tanker after the explosion. He did not appear in court but was fined $5,000. Rogers, a supervisor, was in court. In tears, he apologized directly to the family. He was charged $3,000. Tuff's brother Alex handed him water after he spoke.
The family can reach out and say, listen, it's all right, what's done is done, but, you know, at some point you gotta help each other out.
In all, the companies and the employees pleaded guilty to 10 charges under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Among them, a failure on the part of Woodward's and Rogers to make sure the space was safe and employees had the proper gear. Wade ignored a policy to test air quality in the tank and did not ensure Tuff was properly trained to work in confined spaces. Along with the fines, both have to attend a 2-day supervisor safety course. The companies both said they've taken steps to improve their safety. Woodward's now sends its tankers to the island for repairs when welding fixes are needed.
The amount of fines is really minute to these people. The fact that they have to make change so that this doesn't happen anymore to any family. And they've taken the measures to do that, and hopefully it's just not all in jest.
I hope it's something that's not going to happen again to somebody else. Right? Not in this circumstance or situation.
Everybody in the courtroom agreed today that this death was preventable and that these punishments, nor any punishment, can make up for the loss that Christopher Tuff's family has endured. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
The lead investigator looking into allegations that senior members of the RNC broke the law says he's very close to filing his report. Nova Scotia's Serious Incident Response Team is called in when police are suspected to have engaged in serious wrongdoing. Today, CERT Director Ron McDonald told CBC News that the investigation, which began a year and a half ago, is almost done. Sources have told CBC News that 5 senior RNC members are being investigated. And those sources also say a police informant allegedly committed crimes without being arrested, even though some of those crimes were witnessed by police officers.
Brad Gujou and his teammates will be podium favorites at the World Men's Curling Championship starting tomorrow in Edmonton. The team is representing Canada after winning the Brier in St. John's earlier this month. This is their first appearance at the World competition, and if they do reach the podium, the team will secure a direct entry into the Olympic trials in December. Here's the schedule for tomorrow. The first action for the Gujou team is tomorrow evening, 5:30 Newfoundland time. They face Switzerland. Now that's the only action for Team Canada tomorrow, but they have 2 games on Sunday. The first is against Russia at 12:30 Newfoundland time, and then they play Sweden in the evening at 10:30 Island time. Round robin play continues all week with the medal games on the weekend. Well, a big win for a small charity with ties to this province. A few weeks ago, we told you about the Arctic Eider Society landing a finalist spot in the Google Impact Challenge. Well, it turns out they won the top prize of $750,000. The contest selects 5 projects as the winners, and the Siku project was one of them. Now, the Siku project is an Inuit social mapping platform, an app that people living in the north can use to share cultural knowledge and environmental observations.
After the break, more from the family of the man who was killed in a workplace accident in Labrador.
Welcome back. And
I'm just finding out what's going to come next.
Yeah, that's right. We're giving Debbie a little surprise here.
Make her blush a little bit because Debbie has received a huge honor that is definitely worth recognizing.
That's right. If a Canadian Screen Award wasn't enough.
That was for the whole show.
That's true. You were a big part, though, and about to get more recognition and an honor.
Yes, absolutely. A big news tonight from the RTDNAs, which is the Radio Television Digital News Association. It has announced that Debbie is being awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award for her quote, distinguished journalism career.
I have to say it was unexpected, but fantastic. What an honor.
And well deserved, absolutely. The write-up is excellent. No. They say, Debbie, that you are the backbone of Here and Now, having conducted thousands of interviews, including every premier since Brian Peckford. And they talk about your impeccable journalism, dedication to the profession, and your connection with people.
This is hard to sit in the middle and not say very much, but that's very nice.
Very exciting. And of course, you'll be heading up to the awards next weekend. And congratulations. I think everybody wants to know, the question everybody wants to know, what are you going to do for the second half of your career?
Oh, right. Smarty.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
Thanks for that shout out for everything.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
And okay, as we segue to the weather, I have something that I want to show everybody. I get excited. I'm a weather nerd, but I think everybody can appreciate the beauty of this. We started Wednesday with two systems. One to the south, one coming off the eastern seaboard. But what you're about to see with this water vapor imagery from Wednesday morning into Thursday is two systems. The subtropical system right here, one coming off the northeast parts of the U.S. Two systems become one. And if you can't just marvel at this over the last couple of days, I wasted way too much time today watching this over and over again. And this is as of this morning. You can see where the low is starting to wind up here. And yes, hurricane force gusts and winds detected in this over the Grand Banks, thankfully offshore. But this is quite a system for sure that will be now rolling off to the north. Winds are going to continue strong tonight for eastern parts of Newfoundland. By the way, if you want to see that again, I've posted it to my Facebook page so you can check it out there. There's the low, which is again departing. If there's anything that really the forecast models didn't handle too well, it was the subtropical moisture and that warmer air coming in, and that's why we did mix over to rain in the east. But boy, this has been a full-on storm. How about the snow in Bay Vert? This was taken 3 hours ago. Where's the car? You can barely just see the roof there. Good luck to Laura Lynn Noble and from digging out that one. Now, blizzard warnings still remain in effect from the northern peninsula east down to the down to the Bonavista Peninsula rather, and into the Clarenville region. Blowing snow advisory still in effect for the Burgeo to Ramia area, and the special weather statements continue in effect for the north coast of the island. Lots of pictures today online of all the pack ice that's been rolling in. That continues. Lots of pressure with that northerly flow, and that ice will continue to jam in to that north coast tonight. Wind warnings, as you saw there for Conagra and St. John's, remain in effect through this evening. And there, again, in case you missed it, is your snowfall totals for tonight. 10 to as much as 15, even 20 centimeters from the Bonavista Bay area up towards Gander and the Bay of Exploits. And we are looking at upwards of 15, not out of the question for the Northwest Avalon. Looks like 5 to 10 for St. John's tonight and in through tomorrow morning. Let's run you through your timeline. There are those gusts, 80 to 90 kilometers per hour overnight tonight. The snow, again, will continue. We'll start the day near -1 in St. John's, -2 in Gander. Starting just cloudy along the west coast, -12 to 20 in Labrador with clear skies to start your day. And then as we work throughout your Saturday morning, watch your timeline here, still gusting to 80 early on. Easing through the day, but still some gusts 60 to 70 into the afternoon, though the snow will taper to flurries, and we'll actually see some sunshine starting to break through in areas of central, though I think it's pretty cloudy from start to finish in St. John's. Note the sun breaking out over the west coast, and a beautiful day across Labrador with light winds. And there are your forecast temperatures for tomorrow. We'll be near the freezing mark for most of Labrador, a little cooler on the north coast, up to 3 or 4 degrees on the west coast tomorrow. Light winds, bit of spring sunshine in the mix, doesn't take much, but those north-northwesterly winds and all that pack ice going to keep temperatures closer to the freezing mark here in the east. Sunday details of what's brewing for Sunday night into Monday. I'll let you know coming up. Debbie?
Thanks, Ryan. Back now to Happy Valley Goose Bay. That's where the family of Christopher Tuff spoke with Here and Now's Jacob Barker. Tuff was a welder and was killed almost 4 years ago when a fuel tank he was working in exploded. Today, the companies and workers involved in the accident were fined, and Tuff's family members gave their victim impact statements.
You can't put it into words. What this had effect on our family. Like my father, he'll never have he lost his son. My stepmother lost his son, the son and a brother. And as I mentioned in my victim impact statement, I'll never have a brother. My kids won't know their uncle, and etc. Right? And it's so much negative impact that comes from a workplace fatality. And I hope that companies really truly understand not only the emotional impacts it has on families, but for, in their case, the financial implications as well.
After Mr. Rogers spoke and addressed you guys directly, you handed him a glass of water.
Yeah, I mean, he got up and delivered. He wanted to speak to the family, and he became overwhelmed. So he asked for a glass of water, and I did hand him one. And I feel that was kind of like it's all right. We're all suffering. And he did admit, there is a mission of guilt there. But at the end of the day, we all have to deal with that little devil inside of us, and I feel that he was there that day. So, if the family can reach out and say, listen, it's all right. What's done is done. But at some point you gotta help each other out. So,
I needed to hear him say that he was sorry for what he'd done. I had asked if he would speak to us directly, and he did. He never had an issue with that. So I just needed to hear him say that he was sorry.
5% of all charges will be there'll be an amount set aside for the Threads of Life Foundation, or the charity. And that charity is it's an organization helping families, whether it's a workplace fatality, injury, or occupational disease, all over Canada. So it's a great organization.
And there's a lot going through my mind, and it's going to be all the time. Like, I don't know. I don't even know where to come up with it. Right? So I hope it's something that's not going to happen again to somebody else. Right? Not in this circumstance or situation. Right?
Prevention. If things had been different every day, people got to just think and have a conscience and see what I do today is going to impact on someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's father, someone's mother. It'll make so much difference in all of our lives if that happened. And if people wanted to do something, to make this different for all of us, it would be to say, tomorrow I'm going to go to work and I'm going to say, if this hurts someone, I'm not going to do it.
Well, there's a big fundraiser happening tomorrow to help a young woman who was paralyzed after a car crash in St. John's. We'll hear from some of the musicians involved after the break. Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, musicians and performers in St. John's are coming together to raise money for 21-year-old Morgan Pardy and her family. Pardy is paralyzed from the chest down after the car she was traveling in rolled on the highway earlier this month. Nearly a dozen musicians and performers are holding a fundraiser tomorrow night at the factory in St. John's. One of the people organizing the event is Matty Rose. He and fellow musician Chris Ryan are also planning a private performance for Pardy in hospital tomorrow afternoon to help lift her spirits. We spoke with them about how Pardy is doing and why the fundraiser is so important for her family.
Yeah, Morgan grew up in Mount Pearl, where I grew up as well, and we attended some of the same schools. She went to the same schools my little sister currently attends. So it just, when this all happened, it just kind of hit home for me in a big way. And her friends and that crowd of people always supported me as a musician coming from Mount Pearl and that kind of thing. So it just was important, I guess, that, you know, we get something together, and luckily enough we were able to, and it worked out. Right now, I think doctors are saying that it's very unlikely that she's going to walk again, but she's conscious and has use of her arms and her hands, and so it's you know, it's going to be a tough road, but she's a strong girl, and you know, I'm sure that she's going to rise above this hard time.
I kind of cringe thinking about the change that she's going to have to go through, and the things that, you know, you almost take for granted, just your natural mobility, and when you go to do something, and in your mind you're doing it, but your body physically can't do it. So mentally, I can't even fathom what the poor girl's going through.
I was told today Morgan is being moved from ICU today sometime down to one of the wards in the Health Science Hospital. So she's doing good, and I'm told that this event has definitely lifted her spirits a whole lot, and as well as many other events that have happened throughout the city in the last week. And tomorrow, actually, myself and Chris are going to be going to do a little visit with Morgan at the hospital, so that'll be nice as well too. So hopefully we'll get a big smile on her face tomorrow before show night.
Sing her some songs. We're going to do some songs from my record, as well as some of Matty's singles. And then, you know, basically let's just do an all request hour, because I mean, any hour of uplifting that can happen, why wouldn't you do it for somebody who is in the position that this poor girl's in? If we're going to do this event for her, we might as well bring a little bit of the event to her.
I was told that they have to you know, remodel their house, and her mother's told me some of the different things that are going to come over the course of the next few months, of course, and you know, physiotherapy and everything like this. And so hopefully it raises something. I know the GoFundMe page for Morgan is being run by a friend of the family, and I think that's raised just over 20 grand right now. So I mean, anything to add to that total right now is going to help them in the future.
Obviously, it's going to be a pretty big cost and burden on them. So I mean, you know, we want to shoot for the stars here and raise as much money as we possibly can to make, you know, their life, even if it's a little bit easier. I mean, that's the most important thing. So anytime you can give back to a community or a person that is given to you, I mean, why wouldn't you do it, right?
Tomorrow night, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's some stand-up comedy, there's live entertainment throughout the night, beginning at 8 p.m., and then we'll cap it off at midnight to close with the DJ. So it's myself, Chris Ryan, of course, Larry Foley, High Tide, Zach Werner, many more coming on the bill and coming in aid of this young girl and her family.
Kaetlyn Osmond wins big in the World Figure Skating competition, coming in second overall.
Yes, it happened just a short time ago, and after the break, we'll take you to Helsinki, Finland to hear from her parents.
Well, what a spectacular day for figure skater Kaetlyn Osmond, who is now the reigning world silver medalist. She was in second place after a short program Wednesday in Helsinki, Finland. And late this afternoon, she needed a strong skate in her long program. Now, this performance was good enough for Kaetlyn to capture the overall silver medal after the demanding long program. And her parents, Jackie and Jeff Osmond, were there to witness it all. I reached them by phone not long after the medal ceremony outside the rink. Well, Jackie and Jeff, congratulations. You must be ecstatic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are.
What was it like watching Kaetlyn perform that long program? Just describe what was going through your minds.
For me, it was a lot of shaking and trying to stay calm myself. I believe if I stay calm, I send vibes to her to help keep her calm. And got excited after every single element because I knew it was getting closer and closer to the end. So, and then when it was over, just to see her expression just made me feel so happy.
And Jeff, what was it like for you? You can feel Jackie's energy, her nervousness. How were you taking it all?
I pretty much just sit down and take it all in. It just it's so nice to see finally that she does what she can do in practice.
Yes, it always is the trick, isn't it, to do it in competition?
Yes.
Jackie, we spoke yesterday briefly by phone, and you didn't think at one point that you'd ever see Kaetlyn back on the ice the way she is now after her injury. Just describe that feeling for us.
Well, oh my, this is hard. Kaetlyn's always had great success in her skating ever since she was a little kid, and even at 10 winning her first nationals. But when she broke her ankle or broke her leg that time, and I watched her get back on the ice for the first day, and she skated as if she was just a 2-year-old starting to skate again. I didn't think I'd ever see the day that she'd even skate, let alone be on the world stage.
And now today, you and Jeff got to see Kaetlyn be named #2 in the world. How good is that?
It's absolutely amazing. We're so ecstatic, so happy, and so proud of her.
Have you had a chance yet, Jeff, to see her, or is she all wrapped up in the media flurry afterwards?
Yeah, no, basically what you guys see on TV is what we see. We haven't really saw Kaetlyn face to face for, 2 days now?
Yeah.
They basically leave her to do her thing. So now after tonight, they done the medal ceremonies afterwards. So we saw that, and now I guess we'll see her back at the hotel.
Yeah, we're invited back to her hotel so that we can see her and hug her.
And hug her. Well, I'm sure everybody in this province would like to send a hug her way and pass on our congratulations. And congratulations to you. It takes a lot of support to get a child to this level.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
How nice is that?
Isn't it
great to hear
great.
from them? Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
So, one down, one to go. I'm sorry. I really am. If I could undo it, if I could make it not happen, I would. But yeah, we've got more weather on the way. First, let's talk about the low that is departing. And slowly but surely, again, this thing is massive, and you can see the snow and the wind over the island and all the way back to the northern peninsula, though conditions easing off from west to east as this area of high pressure moves in and the storm departs. Now we're going to be looking at additional snowfall totals tonight, anywhere from 5 to 10 centimeters the Baie Verte Peninsula to St. John's, and looking at the best chance of 10 to 15, even as much as 20 from the Bay of Exploits down towards the Bonavista and Trinity Bay areas. Now, that will, again, take its time moving out. Not so much the snow, but the wind is going to be really relentless tonight in the east. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, still gusting 70 to 80 kilometers per hour, and even into the afternoon on Saturday, gusts 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Winds becoming light for Labrador, as well as western parts of Newfoundland, and that is going to allow the temps to really climb. That spring sunshine, coupled with the light winds, will allow temps to climb to 3 and 4 degrees. Riding the freezing mark generally for across most of Labrador and Newfoundland, but again here in the east with those northerly winds blowing in over that pack ice that's packed into all the coasts and bays, it's going to be a chilling one for sure. Now as we roll into the Saturday night, Sunday time period, winds will ease off. We'll have a little bit of sunshine to start the day on Sunday, but note that the clouds will be increasing as we work into the Sunday afternoon time period, and that is ahead of our next system. Now we are looking at temperatures not too bad on Sunday, near the freezing mark, +1 for most of us, and even in Labrador, flirting with the freezing mark with the isolated flurries on the menu, but nothing too significant. Watch your timeline. So I think we're quiet early Sunday evening with the snow then rolling in through the mid to late evening hours and really cranking up as we roll towards Monday morning. We're talking about not just snow, but yes, some strong winds wrapping in from the northeast, gusts 80 to 100 kilometers per hour, not out of the question based on the latest forecast model runs. And some of those long-range models are showing the snow mixing over to rain here across the Avalon through Monday morning, and that's where I'm leaning right now. Snow mixing to rain on the Avalon as temperatures rise to 2, with snow in central, lighter snow towards the west, and again some flurry chances in Labrador. But overall, the next one is going to be set for Newfoundland, and again significant snow possible from the Avalon back towards the Green Bay, White Bay area. And yes, some light snow even possible for the west coast into the northern peninsula. So hopefully some of you still have some storm chips left after all of that snow and wind and even some rain that we've had with the last one. I know Zach Gowdy, I think he probably ate most of his chips already. But Zach, we've got some reinforcements
Yeah, it's gonna get toweled off when it hits out in front of the door.
How was it out there?
Wet.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. Anything I can do.
All right. So yeah, speaking of storm chips, we did the storm story already. Now we're going to do the storm chips flavor story because this was just so much fun on social media.
It was a huge hit.
Yeah. So last night on the show, Ryan and I challenged our audience to put a twist on the storm chips trend and come up with funny flavors. And as always, you guys delivered in a big way. Let's check out just a few of your suggestions from Anne Swartfiger. I've had all day to figure out how to pronounce your name, Anne. That's the best I could do. But I love your suggestion. Barbecue the power failure.
Nice.
Storm chips. Nice one. Very lovely. All right.
Next one, party mixing over to rain on the eastern parts of the Avalon.
Way to go, Stephen Pretty. Thank you so
one,
much.
nice
From
one.
Buster Chaplin, squall dressed chips. Yeah.
Nice. That's one of my favorites for sure. Peter King, chill pickle, which was a nice one as well.
I think a lot of people got to chill pickle. Thank you, Peter King, and everyone else who hit on that one. Next up, we're going to have, in our cavalcade of chip flavors, from Wendy Walsh, nacho spring. It's not our spring. I don't know whose spring it is around here, but it's not our spring.
That's a good one as
for
well.
Sure. Thank
there
you,
were
Wendy.
a lot of great ones.
Yeah.
And we still have another one. Susan O, can't see the barbecue, which is a pretty good one, especially if you're towards the Green Bay, White Bay area where pretty much everything is buried at this point.
Yeah, and from Joni Perry Sears, the great star on Twitter, there go my shingles Pringles. I hope that's just a chip joke and not for real.
I hope nobody actually lost any shingles. I don't think they did.
Yeah. Now, St. John's comedian Steve Coombs gets his own section of this report because Steve just went on a roll with this one. I'm going to end it off with a bunch from Steve. First of all, snow gratin. Snow gratin, another delicious pun. Thank you.
And this one, stay off the outer Ringalo Road.
Ringalos. You got any Ringalos over there?
No Ringalos
here.
How
about some power off and onions?
Nice. Nice.
Steve, this one's actually kind of flattering.
Absolutely. Zachary Sticks and sour cream and Snoddon.
Oh, thank you, Steve. You're too nice to us.
Yeah.
And this is actually my personal favorite. Poutine the shovel away for good.
Nice.
Thank you so much,
We
Steve.
hope so, but we know that's not the case.
Yeah, well,
With
to
more snow coming next week.
Wish we could have squeezed in some more into this bag. If you want to follow along with the full thread, just check out the hashtag STORMCHIPFLAVOURS. It's hilarious.
Never too late to add an entry.
Well, hey, speaking of never too late,
Yeah.
fork over some of those storm
You want
chips,
the
buddy.
cheesies?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Maybe
can
the
have
fun
the cheesies. I don't want the cheesies.
Okay, let's meet our young athlete of the day who comes to us from Port Basque. 5-year-old Emma Smith likes to be active.
Yes, she's at level 4 in skating, participates in swimming lessons, and also does Zumba classes on Saturday mornings.
Way to go, Emma. You're today's young athlete of the day.
There's fear in the shrimp industry tonight after federal fisheries imposes a major reduction in quotas. More on that coming up. Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, back now to one of our top stories, the drastic cut to the shrimp quota off the northeast coast. This year's total allowable catch is cut back from 63%. Add in last year's smaller quota, and that's an 80% cut over 2 years. Here and Now's Terry Roberts spoke to shrimp fisherman Glen Winslow, but first we hear from FFAW President Keith Sullivan.
In a word, I mean, it's devastating news. It's devastating. We're asking the federal minister to immediately reconsider this decision. I mean, it has going to have a devastating impact, and it has to be reconsidered. I'm not convinced the federal minister has the full view of the fishery here in Newfoundland and Labrador when making that decision.
So do you think the cut is too steep?
Well, last year we saw a roughly 25% decline in biomass, and we have a 62% cut. Last year, the same harvesters, the same people endured a 40% cut. 2-year total, 80% cuts. That's why I'm saying that's going to have devastating impact on the viability of people who depend on fishing shrimp, and also plants and all the other communities and thousands of jobs related to that. At this level, enterprises that depend on shrimp will not be viable. They'll take the viability out of their enterprises on those dependent upon shrimp, which is a large number. About 75% of those with shrimp licenses were mostly dependent on shrimp 2 years ago. So that's going to have major impacts on them. Also can't sustain the number of plants we have in the province. We have over 1,000, 1,500 workers directly in processing who had decreased hours. It was very difficult last year. This makes it impossible for all those plants to work and work for those number of people.
Look, here's the way it is with shrimp. Going back 4 years ago, we had £600,000 to catch on this boat per licence. Now we're down to, last year, £45,000. This year, if it's a 63% cut, you'll be down to less than £20,000. A trip of shrimp was basically £60,000, so we won't even have 1/3 of a trip.
So that's devastating.
Well, basically the shrimp fishery is over for us now. The problem we're into, Terry, is if the resource is as bad as what they're saying it is right now, we never see it last year, because last year we had some of the best catch rates that we ever had in shrimp, you know, like 2.5, 3 days, and we had our trip and on the way in. Like, it was as quick as 10 tows, 11 tows, and it wasn't just one boat, it was every boat that was down Reddit. Then the catch rates slacked off in the fall of the year, which is generally the way it happens anyway. But if the catch rates, even with the quotas that were last year, it got to the point that if the catch rates gets as bad as what they're predicting now, the economics are going to look after it. They wouldn't have to worry about cutting the quota, period. They could have left it like it was. The economics are going out and catching it. If it's as bad as that, they'll look after it. There'll be no fishery anyway.
2, 1. SpaceX has completed the first successful launch and landing of a recycled rocket. This is the biggest leap yet in a bid to drive down costs and shorten downtime between flights.
The rocket later landed on a platform in the ocean. The founder of SpaceX says flying reusable rockets over and over is a crucial step towards his dream of sending people to Mars.
Hunting for supper can be a delicate and dangerous balancing act in the great outdoors, especially between two animals high up in the trees. Just look carefully here and you'll see a lynx and a squirrel playing cat and mouse. This treetop tango was captured by Ken Nicholson in Drayton Valley, Alberta. He quietly watched the chase play out for about a minute, and in the end, it was a great escape for the sprightly squirrel.
Boy, that lynx must have been desperate. I didn't think they would go up
Climb
that
that
high
high.
to...
Yikes. Yeah, definitely. Okay, 7-day trend, because we didn't get there last time. We had to talk about the storm chips. Sunday looks like a nice day. We'll enjoy that. Sunday night into Monday, our next storm arrives with snow and wind. That does look to linger into Tuesday, especially for Central, with some blowing snow and drifting in behind. And then we're kind of calming down for mid next week to mid to late next week. We'll keep our fingers crossed that that holds. And into Labrador, again, a pretty quiet 7-day trend there. Just some flurries on Sunday. And again, temperatures kind of riding the freezing mark. Our viewer picture of the day. Our hats off to those on the Bayvert Peninsula. This is another, actually this is in Sopsarm, which is on the west side of White Bay. With that area, Green Bay, White Bay area, Notre Dame Bay really hit hard today.
Looks like it's heavy snow too. Okay, let's move along. Time to shine the spotlight on many of you celebrating this week. Congratulations to Clayton and Shirley Hayward of Musgrave Harbor, who are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary today. Celebrating 53 years of marriage on the 3rd of April, Albert and Shirley, pair of Pasadena. Happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Mary and Nash Pickett, formerly of Tilting, Fogo Island, now in St. John's. Curtis and Clara Ford of Island Harbor, Fogo Island, are also celebrating their golden anniversary today. Happy 59th anniversary to George and Nancy Hemion of Botwood, whose special day was the 28th.
Another golden couple here, Betty and Fraser Moss of Lethbridge celebrated their 50th anniversary on March 27th. And also celebrating their 50th anniversary on the 27th, Ruth and Wayne Clark of Conception Bay South. Congratulations to you. Happy 94th birthday tomorrow to Esther Crocker of St. John's. Best wishes to Walter and Linda Gibbons of Red Bay, Labrador, who celebrated their 50th anniversary yesterday. And congratulations to Patricia and Eli Bishop on their 53rd wedding anniversary coming up on April 3rd.
Happy 90th birthday to Max Stacy of Badger. Congratulations to Robert and Florence Trowbridge of Port au Bras, who celebrated their 50th anniversary on the 27th. Best wishes to Fred and Ruth Gill of Botwood, whose 58th anniversary was yesterday. Happy 53rd anniversary to John and Rita Piercy of Galtus. Another golden anniversary. Congratulations to Roy and Bonnie Stone of Bryant's Cove, who are celebrating today.
Best wishes to Bonnie and Harold Penton of Bishop's Falls, who will be enjoying their 50th anniversary tomorrow. Happy 93rd birthday to Hubert Oxford of Springdale, coming up on Monday. Congratulations today to Warren and Rhoda Blanchard of McIvor, celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Happy 90th birthday to Gerald Wheeler of St. John's, celebrating on the 4th. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Hillary and Vita Johnson of Little Catalina, who celebrated on the 29th.
Happy birthday to Susan Bromley of Conch, whose 96th birthday is coming up Sunday. Best wishes to Pearl Allen, who was 93 years old on the 29th. She's now living in Clarenville. Happy 94th birthday tomorrow to Victoria Travers of Lark Harbor, Bay of Islands. Best wishes to Lucy Meadus, who celebrated her 90th birthday on Thursday. She is in Clarenville. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Bill and Elsie Gilbert of North Harbor, Placentia Bay.
Happy 91st birthday to Willie Barrow of Gambo. His special day is coming up on Monday. Congratulations to Harriet Saunders from Point Leamington, who was 92 years old on Wednesday. And birthday greetings to Don Burton of Fortune, who celebrated his 91st birthday on Tuesday. And happy 91st birthday as well to Ursula Chambers of Blue Cove on the Great Northern Peninsula, who celebrated yesterday. And it was a 92nd birthday this Monday for Lucy Boyd of Port Saunders.
Happy 58th wedding anniversary yesterday to John and Phoebe Parrell from St. John's. It's 63 years of marriage today for Don and Joan Hannum of Leading Tickles. Happy 50th anniversary greetings to Fred and Netta Pond of Twillingate, whose big day is tomorrow. And happy 61st wedding anniversary to Garland and Stella Perry from Corner Brook. Congratulations to all. Enjoy your weekend. We're going to try to do that. And
Absolutely.
see you back here on Monday.
Good night, everyone.